Yo, what's going on YouTube? Chronos here and welcome back to another PSO2 video. So in today's video, as you can see, we have a different weapon on us. So I just got off of about an 8-hour stream, not too long, not too short, but not too long. Just came back, decided to stream today, and had a pretty good welcome back to streaming, honestly. I hadn't streamed in a little bit. A lot of you guys rolled on through. Super exciting to have you guys hang out. It was a lot of fun. But I had the stream decide what we're gonna play next. And we were mulling it over, trying to figure things out, and we landed on fighter. So here's the build up to this. I'm trying to say I'm trying to think of the word in this situation. It'd be great if we were prepared, but we never are. But you know, it's how you can tell. It's one of my videos. That's how you tell it's a chrono video, basically. This is the I guess the disclaimer. I'm not a great fighter. I absolutely am not. I try. But fighter's a fairly difficult class to actually play well. Like it does require you to know your guard frames, to know your iframes, to survive. You have very low HP pools. I mean, I have a decent HP pool, but mine's still relatively low. And we're about to do ultimate. So if we don't get a techer, my HP pool is going to be really low. It's going to be around 270 roughly whenever I press overdrive, which you usually want to. Now, I'm going to be posting the tree in the video description as always. We're going to grab our tree buff. Oh look, dude, one of our members. Hey there, friend. You don't realize it, but you're in the video. See, I just got off of a stream, had a pretty good time. I'm glad you guys could stop by, hang out. Oh, let me go ahead and show off, because people have asked about gear in these videos. These Nemesis weapons were super cheap for fighter, by the way. Like really cheap. So we just have them plus 35, pick those up on the cheap. We're still rocking our same ray units as always, and we're using a Twin Daggers Air Pursuit ring. Honestly, I don't feel like Twin Daggers plays that well without this. And we're using an HP Restaurant ring. This is actually a recommendation from the comments, and I wanted to try it out today, and it actually has been working pretty well. Basically, if Iron Will procs the HP Restaurant ring within the time frame Iron Will is up, does heal us, as always. As always, there's an announcement during the stream. Now, I did that one on purpose because I wanted you guys to hear. As some people have been asking, you know, hey man, am I losing it? Or we're not doing Black and Kingdom. We're doing Ultimate, by the way. So what did we do last time? We did Nefarious. We're gonna do Lilipa. Let's head over to Lilipa. See if we can find a decent party. But I left it on purpose because people ask, dude, there's some locked parties doing Lilipa. Wow, okay. These are probably groups that are either specifically a team run, or they're hunting for Anga. That's kind of, I mean, I guess we might not do Lilipa, dude, because it's like kind of full right now. Let's see. Let's join as a separate party with this group. It's kind of small, but you know, we'll work it out. If there's only, you know, 5 of us in there, it shouldn't be too terribly bad. But people have been like, man, am I losing it, or is that like, you know, only like partly in Japanese and partly in English? It 100% is partly in Japanese and partly in English. It's kind of funny. If this doesn't work out, we'll go over to Nefarious. Thanks for interrupting. You know, I appreciate it. I did it on purpose, but you know, thanks for interrupting. When we just spawned directly into an Anga. And our Iron Will procced instantly. We're gonna do this. So I'm only doing this kind of as just a litmus test. So you guys can see kind of where I start, because I am not a great fighter by any means. Oh, our RDR dropped. Let's while we're running, oh, clipped. As you guys can see, so our Iron Will procced, but kind of the cool part about it is trying to play this and talk at the same time is actually kind of difficult because I'm not really that great at it. So I apologize in advance. Okay, sweet. Oh, he's actually resistant to my weapon. I just realized it. That sucks. But yeah, anyway, what was I talking about? Dude, this is one of the few times I've lost train of what I was actually talking about. Lost track of what I was talking about, my train of thought. But yeah, not the best fighter. I wanted to do this as kind of a litmus test. Give you guys an idea of where I start. Some people are like, you know, didn't you play this to level it? I absolutely did, but playing something leveling and playing something in actual, like, endgame content are two very different things. And I personally don't like mobbing with anything but knuckles because it's hilarious to just punch the ground for tons and tons of damage. That will never get old. I doubt that's optimal, but Jesus Christ, is it funny to do. Holy, it's funny to do. Local fighter is pissed. He dies all the time. But yeah, man. Shout out to all the fighters out there who are trying to make it through right now. People are saying, you know, your weapon kind of sucks. I mean, Double Saber is kind of lacking when it comes to damage, but it's going to get really strong in episode 4 when you guys get what you need for it. Punch everything immediately. How is that not fun? Like, how can anyone say that's not fun? Just to punch the ground and deal tons of damage. That is hilariously fun in my opinion. And it's very effective. I would normally pick that guy up in my party, but since we're just doing this for video recording, I'm not really going to worry too much about it. Like, that is incredibly fun to do, man. Like, insanely fun to do. So yeah, this is me playing fighter. I mean, again, it's not like anything too crazy. Like, people wanted to, like, you know, we're going to try to play a little bit of everything. So let's jump in the middle of this and just start smashing the ground a little bit. Now, I know at least doing 2 of these is optimal because if I remember correctly, now granted, we did read a fighter guide on stream. And I will link that guide in the video description. I highly recommend you guys check it out. I've probably plugged this like a billion times. But the PSO2 Fleet Discord has a guide channel that has all these different guides for different classes, man. It's super, super helpful. I did also get help from a buddy by the name of Socks. Socks 207 Rocks. Pretty chill dude. Not sure if he's still streaming, but I'm going to find the link to his stream and plug in the video description too, man. If you guys are out there looking for fighter players, it's actually a very good fighter. And did help me out with the tree, so credit where credit's due. If I could help plug other people of the community itself in the game, that is my goal. Because I'm mostly a bouncer player, man. But those of me who really know me from a long time ago, I actually played fighter first. I just wasn't very good at it, so I tried something else. Well, in reality, I played bouncer before I played fighter, but then I heard bouncer was a support class and was like, oh, I don't want to play support, I want to play damage. I'm gonna go fighter. And then realized I could do damage with bouncer as well and went back to bouncer. Spoiler, I was just also bad at fighter, so it gave me any excuse to go back to bouncer, I'd take it. Dude, I don't know how anyone can not enjoy punching the ground like that. So the reason that PA actually works when you're punching the ground like that is it stuns enemies, and because it counts as a status ailment, it works for chase damage, which is kind of nice. I like that a lot. Yo, okay, so this is something that I got asked in one of my videos to mention on how this works, because I know some of you guys are getting, like, you know, getting yelled at by other people in AQs, since AQs up. There's the first death of the video. We're dead, boys. So you guys get yelled at in AQs because you're not chaining your photon blast, right? And people have this mindset that photon blasts increase your PSE. So let's fix something right now. So the way PSE works, if you look in the top right hand corner right here, right underneath the for right here, this is how many people are in your party next to your map, and right here's your PSE. Now as you can see right now we have a level 8 PSE. That is what started the PSE burst. Now you see the other three things there, those are all other buffs. If those reach 8, we get a cross burst. Now we also have an RNG chance of getting a 1 more. That is purely based on RNG. Now how do you get those level ups, you ask? Well, it comes from RNG killing enemies. There's other effects sometimes that mess with it a little bit, weather and so on, but it's just RNG killing enemies. So, on a purely technical basis, using your photon blast does not increase your PSE chances. Now what it does do is chaining them means that they're out longer, meaning if you're using things like Nifta, it does pull in enemies together for you to kill them faster, which killing them is what actually increases your PSE and nothing else. But chaining your PSE or chaining your photon blasts does not directly increase your PSE. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Just so you're aware. Because I know I've had a lot of people come by the stream and they're like, man, I get yelled at in these runs, or people telling me I should be chaining because that increases that PSE burst. No, it does not. Standing around holding your photon blast for like 15 to 20 seconds means you're not killing enemies. And if you're really crazy strong and you're playing in a group of like randoms, you just pop Nifta. And when I say Nifta, I mean on my mag. If I show you guys really quick, my mag has Julius Nifta. It's my photon blast. It basically gives like a vacuum effect, a bunch of enemies together. If you're really good in PSE and you pop Nifta, you can pop a Nifta and kill enough enemies to get your photon blast back. In most cases, even running in like groups where I was being super where we were coordinating and things like that, I would Nifta, kill a bunch of enemies, and get my Nifta back in time to burst with the entire group. And then in between that, get another Nifta, and then get it back in time again to burst with the group again. So like if you're playing it well, you're killing enemies and things like that, you can actually get a lot done, man. But that's something that a lot of players have been talking about. I've heard a lot. And again, don't get me wrong, yes, by chaining your photon blast, you can get a better PSE burst, but chaining your photon blast does not directly affect your PSE burst. All it does is make it so it lasts longer, so you kill more enemies faster, which then increases your PSE chances. But it's mostly still RNG. You still got to get lucky that the right things level up. And sometimes they don't level up at all. Sometimes you're just that unlucky. Oh, looks like we got another spawn. We're going to see if we can kill these enemies around here. Let people deal with Anga as much as they can. One nice thing about playing fighter is not having to worry about stances as much. Now granted, you can set up yourself to... Oh. And the downside about playing fighter, you can still die. We are still dead. Oh. I am just being infinite juggled, as you guys can see. This build does have automate on it, and I just used all 6 of my trimates. Let me see if I can... Okay, not bad. Yeah, we're all out of mates at this point. So you can go with a build where you go either Iron Will on its own without any without automate, but I know I've mentioned it beforehand, it kind of defeats the purpose of having automate and Iron Will, but with a class like fighter, it's one of the few times I felt like it actually is fine. but it's personal preference. If you're good enough to deal without it, then I wouldn't worry about it. Dude, the lock on for Anga is kind of annoying. And he's also resistant to our weapon now, so we need to switch weapons. I don't know why it locked onto why it wanted to target that for some reason. Can you? That's actually kind of annoying. It's like, can you come down here so I can fight you? But fighter's mostly like any other class. You just have to be aware of your iframes. You have to be aware of guard frames on your abilities. And honestly, just dude, check out a guide. Like in reality, just check out a guide. A lot of this information is already in guides, and it's super helpful to read through it. Are you guys close to being, you know what? We'll join a party. That bit of lag was kind of weird. Yeah. For the next 15 minutes that we're in here, we'll go ahead and join a party. So as far as next class to go into after this is done, probably gonna be, my best guess is probably Techer. I know some people want me to try Techer out. Or Techer, excuse me, is the proper pronunciation for it. I thought I had that. But when we play Techer, it's I can't actually say that and not want to feel like and not want to slightly vomit. So I'm gonna say Techer. So when we play Techer, it's gonna be with Hunter Sub, by the way. It is gonna be melee Techer, because that is the way you should play Techer right now. Like, I know a lot of people want to play specific like forms of certain classes, but to be honest, like Techers are best right now as with melee sub. Like, they get better when you have access to more techs, when you have crafted stuff, but like, just right now, you're better off just wand slapping stuff. And you're better off wand slapping stuff for quite a while, actually. Okay, we haven't fought Grants before with this. Okay, let's get out of that. That has guard frames on it, it looks like. Let's see if we can get rid of these guys. Okay, that sucked, but that's fine. Someone niffed it, so we're going to take advantage of that. Thing about Fighter 2 is it doesn't feel like you have really any downtime. Yeah, limit break not being up is a bit of downtime, but it feels like you're still fairly offensive. You play it mostly the same way, to be honest. At least to me. This is, again, first impressions, really trying to push and play Fighter somewhat semi-competently, or semi-competently is the proper word, I believe. And I guess the closest thing we can call endgame content right now. The only thing I would need to do with Fighter would be to do Heaven and Earth. That would be the next thing I would need to get done, but one step at a time, guys. Don't launch them in the air, man. I think that makes my ground pound not work, man. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So how have your drops been, guys? You got anything cool? I haven't gotten anything since I got that Gix drop in that previous video. I see. I'm not a huge fan right now of daggers. I meant to buy more dagger PAs. I'm actually losing some damage because I don't have my dagger PAs leveled up. That sucks. Now, I don't have the Tekker's buffs right now, which actually were a lot of my safety net. I'm gonna play a little bit of TDs. Whenever we get a boss, we'll switch to daggers a bit. But Knuckles are just too good at mobbing right now, dude. Honestly, Fighter's better mobbing weapon is going to be Double Saber. But just being able to punch the ground like this is kind of funny to me. Like, how is that not fun? I know I've said it like multiple times in this video, but how is it not fun, dude? Yo, and those of you guys are keeping count in the chat, or keeping count in the comments. I say in the chat because of YouTube, but keeping count in the comments. Yo, post the death count. I'll wait. Go ahead. Think I'm a coward? Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't mention this. By the time this video goes out, it'll be PSO2 day, so happy PSO2 day. But today's Father's Day, man. So happy Father's Day. And it's not just to fathers out there, man. It's to, in my opinion at least, it's to the boyfriends out there being fathers, to the stepdads out there being stepdads, where other dads aren't being dads, to the single moms that are being moms and dads. I know, I mean, granted a little bit of a personal history into myself, but my dad passed when I was very, very young. So my mom pretty much took care of both roles as I was growing up. She was a mother and a father. She kind of looked out for us completely. So in our household, she gets both holidays. So I bought dinner tonight, all that good stuff, after we got off the stream, because I hadn't hung out with her like all day. So hung out, she's doing some crafts, things like that, talked with mom, all good stuff. And hey man, I encourage you guys, anyone who's in that similar situation where your mom pulled double duty as you were growing up, man, they'll appreciate it, trust me. It might seem weird at first, but it's very normal for us. We'll pop a Nifta here. We play this Nifta right with the right number of spawns. You should get another Nifta when this ends. Nah, we didn't get enough kills. Almost, though. Did we panic? Oh, no, we're not panicked. All right, we're good. It's usually much easier in content where enemies die faster. I thought maybe we'd try to push it for the PSE burst. I'd res you, friend, but I forgot to pick up moons before I came in. Oh, dude, we got a fighter X cube. Nice. Guys, I might actually really enjoy fighter, to be perfectly honest. And it's funny because I figured it'd be twin daggers that I enjoy the most, but right now, dude, it's Knuckles. Yeah, have I been converted from a bouncer main? Absolutely not, by the way. It's not the case at all. But there's like just a certain serenity in playing fighter that you're living so close to death anyway. Like, you just don't care anymore. It's like, I'm likely gonna get one shot regardless. Just come at me. Pick up some discs. To those of you who don't know, you should definitely stock up on discs before episode 4 when we get crafting. You're going to use those for breaking down into frags that you'll use for crafting. So anything over level 11 can be broken down into frags. Fairly useful. I know some people out there are probably like, shh, don't tell them anything. Honestly, guys, there'll be so many people crafting, frags are still going to be worth a ton. Like, frags are still going to be worth an absolute ton. Specifically tech frags. Hit him with a Dempsey roll. Oh, no, that's not the Dempsey roll. Wow. Whoa, what the hell? Do you guys see that? That was a weird effect. Ooh. Got clipped. So the HP Restaurant Ring, honestly, what it's doing right now is it puts us away from being at 1 HP. So Iron Will not proc if you're at 1 HP. It can't save you from a fatal hit if you're at the save range from a fatal hit. But at HP Restaurant, procs within that 15-second time frame that you're invulnerable from Iron Will, meaning you will always be outside of that one-shot range. If Iron Will can save, or if Iron Will is going to save you, it can. You're basically putting yourself in a situation where Iron Will can save you. It's pretty nice, but it is extremely RNG, and your RNG can just be god-awful. Normally, fighters kind of RNG against this by having access to healing on their weapons, so you'll get, like, you know, life leech on weapons. We just don't have access to that on all of our different weapons at the moment. We have fighter buffs now, or not fighter, we have techer buffs, which is going to be pretty useful, honestly. Oh, part of the reason I also decided on fighter first, by the way, guys, I was thinking about going forest or ranger or even gunner, but they all need new mags, and I really didn't want to make another mag. At least not yet. I wanted to give myself the opportunity to try to earn enough, what is it called? Earn enough photon boosters to possibly make a mag that way instead of having to buy the food myself. Yeah, dude, honestly, unless I'm bossing, TDs don't feel good. All right, is it a boss over there? Yeah, that's a boss over there, but there's also a bunch of enemies right there, so how can you not want to press this? I don't know, man. Knuckles are just fun. Again, I'm pretty sure this is not optimal. It might be optimal, who knows? But dear God, is it fun to do. And if it's fun, does it really matter? You know, maybe I'm like those guys that spam Million Storm that I make fun of. Maybe, you know, maybe I've become them. Hit him with an MC roll. Yeah, so what anime are you guys watching this season? There's really not a lot going on at the moment because, you know, global pandemic and all. You guys got any decent anime? I'm actually just looking forward to video games. After this video is done and uploaded, man, we're going to play some Pokemon. Anyone playing Pokemon? New DLC Isle of Armor, dude? I'm actually really excited. One of my favorite Pokemon is back. Alola Marowak, so I'm gonna go kick back, relax, toss on some content on YouTube, watch a little bit of that, and a little bit of Pokemon, man. I'm playing PSO2 for about 10 hours today. We'll be playing for a good chunk of tomorrow too. I'm thinking we might, by the time this video goes up, more than likely I'll be streaming again tomorrow. It is PSO2 day. It's a good day to farm. You know what? Let's pop a Nifta here. And then hope that Nifta works out in our favor by pulling everything right on top of me, and it did. That's beautiful, and it's all dead. Dude, gotta hit him with the Heartless Impact. The gap closes very strong. You just gotta not be afraid, dude, to press overdrive. You're gonna die, you're gonna die. People die all the time in Ultimates, man. I'm not saying go in there and be a suicidal and be a hindrance to your team, but this is where your damage is. I'd say use it. Pick that up. Notice I'm not picking up everything, by the way, when it comes to discs, because honestly, at a certain point, it just gets boring to have to stop and pick up discs consistently. Like, pick them up if it's convenient, but you're gonna end up with so many of them, it's not a huge deal. Now, I will say the one thing about Knuckles is they're extremely grounded as a weapon. You really don't leave the ground. I mean, you can leave the ground, don't get me wrong, but you really don't want to. I need to go back to this Tekker. Gimme, 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 gimme. Thank you. Fighter has built-in adrenaline, meaning we hold on to Tekker buffs longer, which is kind of nice. So yeah, that ring that Soaring Blade's bouncer really needs, Fighter has built in, so. Now, Knuckles did get a lot of buffs, because they weren't always as great. Other fighters can attest to that. Man, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, man, this is so enjoyable, so relaxing. I'm actually enjoying playing fighter. I'm thinking to myself, I've got a Tekker with me right now, which is making things fairly easy. Oh, I just spawned a boss. Gonna jump back here for a second. Gonna Nifta and then jump right in and start ground smashing. Hope Nifta works out for us. It actually didn't, but you know, we'll take it. Dude, how long were we just quiet there for a second? I was like really focused on trying to hit that weak spot. Like, oh my god, if you guys could see my face, dude, I had serious face on so hard. You gotta believe me. Comments, you have to believe me. You have to believe what I was saying here, I promise you. So when I first picked up Fighter, so those of you guys didn't come to the stream, you missed out on some pretty funny content, man. I got my Fighter set together, I got my weapons together, and I was like, you know what? The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna meme it up a bit. Went into Ultimate solo. I think we died 12 times. And everything's aiming for you, man. Fighter hits different. And this is also, so see these ultimates we're doing now. This is also the reason I tell people not to worry so much about your class X cubes right this very second. Yes, it's good to have the extra points. It's an extra, what, 4 skill points? But like, you can just miss a little bit of damage until you're actually farming. Because right now, I'm farming and I'm getting all my class X cubes that I need. All I'm really missing is a little bit of damage. And as you can see, we're still doing fine. Are we as strong as we could be? No, but we're strong enough. So I was thinking about this content for the future as well. Like, what am I going to be doing? Am I going to do this again when the level cap increases? And to be honest, probably not. This is going to be kind of a thing to do while the level cap is all 75. Just so I have some content while we're waiting for solo content to come out. We're just going to press this and hope for the best. Now that was funny. But honestly, we're probably just going to do this for 75 content. By the time the level 80 content stuff comes out, there's gonna be more things to farm. There'll be more things to do on my main class. Maybe I'll mess around with other classes occasionally. But the whole experience, the whole entire experience is just to understand other classes better. Because I think, honestly, in my opinion, your knowledge of the game overall, like your own understanding of your own class, some of that stuff can really translate to other classes as well. Things you would have never recommended or thought about. They start to become, you know, pretty clean or pretty clear as day when you play a different class. So that's what this is really about. That, and people always ask about recommendations, things of that sort. And I feel like it's just a bit more responsible as a content creator to actually experience the class as individual before I give like hardcore recommendations about anything. So at least have, you know, some experience. Well, you know, this is the content I've completed with this class, and during that time frame, this was my experience, you know? Like, if you would have asked me about a force tree, you know, a while back, I would have thought, you know, rod shoot sounds like a smart move. Let's put points into rod shoot, where in reality, rod shoot is kind of terrible unless you're actually up close to the enemy that you're using. It's just a bit of extra PP, and if you're playing Force Techer, you're not really running out of PP. Which, if you're playing Force, you should be playing Force Techer. And like one series of a situation, you don't play Force Techer, and it's Force Fighter, and it's literally just for Elder. And even if you're fighting Elder, you can probably still get away with playing Force Techer, and you're fine. Let's just let's pop a Nifta here. Yeah, not the best Nifta, but not a bad one. Oh man, I just looked at how long this recording is. I could sit here and do this for an hour and not even realize it. Honestly, I think Fighter might be the class that I farm these on, dude, because this is pretty relaxing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you know, I did want to kind of mention one last thing before... Oh, well, we're dead. I did want to mention one last thing before we wrap up today. I know some people have been asking about the Gix weapons. Are they good? Are they useless? Are they useful? So Gix weapons are actually relatively inexpensive. They're a pretty solid weapon if you can't afford Nemesis and Slave. They don't... The thing about Gix weapons is they don't have a super useful future. They do have somewhat of a future, right? Because the SAF on the weapon, or the special ability factor, or special augment factor on the weapon. The augment factor is basically its main stat for your weapon type, which is pretty solid. Meaning it has some uses moving forward, right? Now, granted, are those uses ridiculously good? Well, say, for example, you know, you wanted to have a decent affix on your Nemesis weapon, right? And you were going to say, I don't know, 5 or 6 slot it for whatever reason. 6 slotting a Nemesis weapon isn't actually that expensive. It's a bit expensive. It's not the worst thing in the world, but you know, it's not terrible. You know, we'll use daggers for this guy. Okay, well, first thing he does is hit me, and then he kills me. As you can see, sometimes the RNG is just not in your favor. But for Gix weapons, say you're going to 6 slot a Nemesis weapon, but you don't have a weapon yet, right? You want a weapon to use. You know you're going to 6 slot, and Sentence is something that you can fit into your weapon. It's actually got a pretty solid SAF. You have to grind it to 35 to be able to unlock its SAF anyway, and you can use it as a stat stick. Granted, its potential may not work the best for you, I know Rod's Gix potential, if you dash, you pretty much you lose the effect of the actual potential. Some is if you heal with a mate item. It depends. Well, it's not fully lost. It's just it goes from 6% or from 20% down to 6, and then it builds back up again over I think 52 seconds is what they said. But it's not the worst. It's just not better than Slave or Nemesis. So if you happen to pick up a Gix weapon, or you happen to get into this and you're like, you know what, I've got some money burning a hole in my pocket, I want to get a stronger weapon, I've got Nox right now, it's not doing it for me, I need something that's going to be able to hit a bit harder, right? In that situation, Gix is not a bad choice. It's just not better than the counterparts, and that's when I mentioned like understanding what a weapon is useful for. And I might have been a bit harsh when I mentioned it previously. I am in a bad place. Let me see if I can get some of these enemies out of here. I'm actually going to focus on the enemies first. I'm going to move out of that. And I might have been a bit harsh on Gix originally. Oh, it actually killed me. That sucks. I might have been harsh on Gix originally. I'm going to escape all here. I apologize for that, but Gix, I mean, it has some merit, right? Not the most merit, but it has some uses. I know some JP players, or some of my friends that played on JP, they just picked up Gix weapons because they're like, you know what? It's got some damage. It's not as much as a Nox, you know, or not a Nox, I'm sorry. It's not as much as a Nemesis or a Slave weapon, but it's not as weak as a Nox weapon either, right? All right, I need to clear out these enemies if I can. We don't have any healing items anymore. All right, we need to switch up weapons. I need to see if I can find something on the ground. There's a Dimate. I was hoping I could get a Dimate and use it to heal up. There we go. That's a huge animation. All right, well, I wasn't even up and I got hit. There we go. I'm starting to get a little bit of a hang of TDs again, but it's missing a few PAs that I'm used to using. Like the gap closer is a bit weird. All right, with Anga dead and the fact that we still got nothing, we're gonna go ahead and call it a video. Let's thank our friends. So tie for the party. Just as a heads up, little PSA, when you're leaving a party and you're the leader, don't just like quit the mission. Go into your party and choose leave party. That does is it kicks you out of the instance and back to the lark ship. Everyone else who wanted to stay in the party stays in the party, doesn't mess up anything that they're doing, and the party lead moves on to someone else. So there you go. Let's finish this up in our personal quarters. So that is our start with playing fighter. Again, not super crazy over the top fighter play. I'm not the best fighter in the world. Again, I'm learning. I want to learn. So that's where we picked up a weapon. We picked up some stuff. We picked up a tree, and we're just going to go at it. Knuckles are a lot of fun. Hopefully this sheds a little light on the class itself. I know there's some people that are kind of, bagging on fighter a bit at the moment because, they see the weapons. They see that, you're missing something that's pretty core to one of the weapons, and they're just like, class sucks. Class is actually pretty dope, honestly. It's pretty fun. Anyway, guys, thanks for making it to the end of this video. I know it's a bit of a longer one, but usually these chill videos are. If you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the comments below. Again, I will be putting the tree itself or the tree that I'm using, so the actual skill tree that I'm using in the video description. And as always, how many times have I said at the end of this? Like, what? Mind blown? As always, guys, if you want to absolve yourself a little bit of the ad block guilt, liking the video helps out a ton. It does actually help the algorithm, surprisingly enough, as cringe as it is, and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content that is coming around. Next class we'll be going through, I'm not 100% sure, but I usually am going to probably let the Twitch channel decide. So I want to stream a bit more. You more than likely might be live by the time you get to the end of this video. So keep an eye out there on Discord. Keep an eye out on Twitter. I'll try to shout out either on Discord, Twitter, or in my YouTube communities page when I'll be streaming next. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.